And I appreciate you, Peter Loubardias, for logging in. Let's shift gears and let's do it, Lou. The Calgary Flames falling last night in overtime, and I'm trying to tell people in this town that it's a good team with a great coach. They'll be fine, but they get a little irrational around here, Lou, when the Flames lose a few games, man. You've noticed.
No, really. The Canadian markets are really easy, Rod, especially when there's high expectations. No, it's been a tough stretch. They have been without Chris Tanev now for 3 games in a row, the guy who glues their defense together. There's been players who have been off to very slow starts. They got off to a great beginning and beat a lot of good teams on their way to a 5-1 record. And I absolutely loved their first 50 minutes last night on Long Island. And right now they're a bit of a fragile group. And as you know, you've been around sports your whole life. When you're fragile and something goes wrong, those things can happen. They definitely played an excellent game on the road last night. And at least they came away with a point, because it would have been, even more disastrous had they not.
I agree. And the thing is, I wonder, because you spent a lot of time thinking about this is your job. When they started out so hot, we're like, yeah, this is the way it should be. This is a great team. They're better than last year. Where did it do a hairpin turn on the freeway, Lou? Just whoop. Like, where did that happen?
Well, I think part of it, Rod, was twofold. First of all, 8 games in a row at home is too much, especially early in the year. It's not an excuse. It's a fact. And because they went in their schedule from playing basically juggernaut, including 2 games against their rivals, and they only played 7 games in the first 2.5 weeks of the season, so getting into a rhythm. But then when they turned the clock and only played 2 games in 9 days, you could just sense that the foot came off the gas a little bit, and certain guys have been pressing and wanting more. And, in the Canadian market, you can't go anywhere in town without hearing about, everybody analyzes hockey in Canada as 82 one-game seasons instead of one 82-game season. And that's not my line, but it is one of my favorites, and I use it often. So, they just haven't been able to put it all together. And the fact of the matter is, last year, when they finished first, they had no injuries to deal with until the playoffs, when Chris Tanev missed, Game 7 in the first 3 games of the Oilers series, and then came back and played the last 2 with 3 severe injuries. So down Tanev, down Stone. Now they've got to play their top 4, 25, 27, 28 minutes. It's a lot.
The fans, well, for one, I watch, maybe you don't, I watch most of the games down in the lower bowl. I spend usually the first period in the press box, then I go down with the fans, and they're all excited. They're like, 8 home games. This is awesome. I don't think they understand when the media says this is too long. You kind of explained this, that, they got to be out and be bothered by fans in the streets, but there's got to be more to it than that. Why is 8 games too long, and why is it good for them to get on the road?
Well, because they're not unlike anybody else. They're creatures of habit, and whether it should be an excuse or not an excuse, Rod, when you're on the road, you've got a bunch of new players. So they really haven't got a chance to know one another, and there's no better way than to get to know your teammates than when you're on the road and spending all kinds of time with them. When you are at home for that length of time, whether it's mama or the kids, or, they don't stop wanting what they need. So there's a lot more distraction, and there's a lot more outside noise. And when the pressure builds in the Canadian market, as you know, take a look at how this year has started. Now, Toronto's finally gotten themselves out of it. Ottawa's been tough. There was expectation. Calgary, tough. Expectation. Edmonton, tough. Expectation. Vancouver, tough. Expectation. Oh, I see some consistency in how that goes. And even across the league, Buffalo, New Jersey, some other teams where there isn't much expectation, holy Dinah, look at them get off to a great beginning.
Well, wonderful points on all of that. And that, so to, before I let you go then, Flames at New Jersey tonight. Any carryover from last Saturday night at all? In your mind, what are your thoughts on this matchup tonight, Devils and Flames?
Well, I didn't really like the Flames very much, certainly early against a speedy team. And one guy I give a lot of credit to in New Jersey this year, not just the players, but a guy I've known forever is Ryan McGill, who is doing an unbelievable job with their group on defense. And it's not what I would call an elite group back there, but they don't give you much. They transition the puck. Roddy, it reminds me a lot of what Ryan was able to do in Vegas in the early days with a defense that everybody kept saying, how the hell are they doing this? But between Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt and a great young core, Heischer, McLeod, Dawson Mercer down the middle, they're fast, they're great in transition, they don't give up much. So the Flames are going to have to do a way better job tonight in the middle of the rink to shut down their transition, because if you don't against that team, you're in trouble.
Well, here's one quote I'll leave you with. Tom Cochran sat on Tom Cochran sat on this set last week, and he goes, New Jersey, they look like a souped-up World Junior team in terms of how young but great they are.
It's a good quote.
Life is a highway. The same guy, Lou. He's watching, but he's Canadian, so you're not surprised. Thanks for the time, my friend.
Sorry I couldn't make it down today. It was my complete intent, but between other responsibilities and crappy roads, I just wasn't going to get there in time. Thanks, buddy.
I got you, man. I appreciate the time. Have a good call tonight.
Thanks.
All right, the great Peter Loubardias, toodaloo. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of the Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.